Hi, my name's Wendy. I'm from Quilt 101. Today's tutorial is on this darling wall hanging, the poinsettia. And this pattern is from Jen Daly, and it is a free pattern that we found on Moda. Stay tuned to the end of our tutorial, and we're going to show you how you can access some free patterns for yourself. We are so excited to offer this to all of you in a pre-cut kit. As you can see, all the pieces are labeled, includes backing and binding, and the instructions. And I'm just going to point out on the instructions by Jen Daly, she does it for a 6 and a 12-inch block. We are actually doing it for a 23-inch block, so we have upped the sizes of the pieces. So with this direction, you're also going to get a 6 and a 12-inch if you want to go back and do something on your own. Okay, the first step is we are going to take fabric F and A, and we are going to lay them on top of each other. Take your stickers off. And on this white one, we are going to draw 2 lines from each diagonal. So let me do that real quick. Now we used friction pins here, but even just a pencil would work. You just want to do it really light from diagonal to diagonal. Does that make sense? Edge to edge on the diagonal. Maybe that makes more sense. All right. And then you're actually going to want to come through here and clip it so it stays together. We're going to go to the sewing machine and sew a 1/4 inch on each side of this line. Now that you've sewn it, you're going to put it on your mat, and you're going to cut on these lines, and you're also going to cut exactly in the middle. So it's a 12-inch block. So at 6 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we are going to cut this way. And we're going to cut in the middle this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they kind of move, so kind of push them back together. And then we're going to cut on these lines. This is going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 half square triangles. All right, so we are now at step 4 in the directions. So we are going to press these open, and you're going to press it from the red side. Then you kind of flip it up, and you kind of work it a little bit. You're going to press that seam really good, and you're going to do that to all 8 of these. All right, so now we are going to square these up to 5.5 inches. And if you see, there's not a lot around it. So on a square up ruler, there's always a diagonal line. Make sure that diagonal line goes right on that seam right there. Make sure there's enough that you can trim around it. And then you're just going to go through here and trim off the little bit around it. And you'll see there's not a lot that you trim off. And you're just going to keep doing that to all of these. Okay, now we're on the section where it says make double triangle units. So on this, you're going to take, well, on all the reds, you are going to draw a diagonal line on all of them. So that's the first step. Do a diagonal line, and then you are going to take these off. You are going to put one on a corner like this. You're going to sew directly on that line, and you're going to repeat it for all of these blocks. So I would probably suggest putting a couple pins in there. It just helps hold it down good for you. And then go to the sewing machine and sew right on that line. You are going to bring it to the ironing board, and you're going to iron this up like that, or press it up. It always helps to iron the top first. It kind of pushes the seam more down into the sewing, and it's easier to iron back. So just go ahead and let's do that for all 4 of them. Alrighty, now take it to your cutting mat. So the next step, you need to trim off this underside. So the pattern says to trim both of these pieces off, but I'm going to give you a little bit of tip. Okay, this one I actually sewed pretty good. It's pretty even with the edges. Let me see if I've got one that's not as... Okay, let me use this one. Okay, see how this one is? It's not quite perfect on the edges. When it's like that, what I do, especially if you're a beginner, and for this wall hanging, it won't matter. I only trim the red away, and I keep the white. Now, you don't have to have pinking shears. You can just use a regular scissor. It doesn't have to be perfect. See how you can see a little bit of white around the edges? To me, this is important when you go to sew the next pieces together. So if you're confident and it looks exactly right, like this one's exactly right, you could go ahead and cut off both pieces, but for this, it doesn't matter. So I would recommend just cutting off this middle red piece right here. Okay. All right, so next step is you are going to take the other 4 red squares that you've already drawn a line down, and you're going to match it up on the other corner. Now you want to make sure this diagonal line is going the correct way, because when you fold it back, it's going to look like that, okay? You'll know it's the wrong way if you test it and it looks like that. That's wrong. So make sure you pay
personal
attention.
Experience, Mom?
Yes, personal experience. Just make sure that it's the correct way. And you're going to go and do the same thing. Sew right on the line. Okay, after they're all sewn, you're going to bring them to the ironing board, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to press it to the corner. It's starting to look pretty. I love when blocks start coming together like this. This is a lot of fun. So press it first and then press it up. Now you want to do the same thing again. So you've got that middle red piece. The directions will have you cut both of these pieces out. But if you're a beginner or even not a beginner and have some experience, it's hard a lot of times to get these to match up perfect along the edges. And if it's off a little bit, it will throw your finished product off. So if you can see how mine, it does not come all the way to the edge. That's just, we're human and it's handmade and that's what happens. So again, for me, in this quilt, it doesn't matter. I am going to trim away that middle red. So that little bit of white is going to show along the edge. And I'll tell you the benefit of that in the following steps. So do that to all of your pieces. All right, we are now on the third section. It's called Make Quarter Petal Units. And what you're going to do on this one is you're going to take the half square triangles that have already been squared up to 5.5 inches, and you are going to pay attention to the diagram. The red square needs to be in that top right, and the piece E is going to go right on top, just like that. So you're going to take this to the sewing machine and sew 1/4 inch right across there. Okay, now that they're sewn on, you are just going to press this towards the white. Just like that. So do that to the 4. And I forgot to mention, you only do this to 4 of them. But those are all the strips you have anyway, so. Now we've got them all trimmed up. So this is 6 inches and this is 6 inches. So make sure you pay attention to the diagram and the directions, and this is how you lay them out. And you're going to sew them together. So we're just going to flip those over. Make sure the edges match up really well. And then you're going to clip them. And so you're going to take those to the machine and finish sewing them up. 1/4 inch seam right along there. Okay, next up is pressing. You're going to press it towards the unit that you made in this unit right here. So it's going to go towards that. And you should see that it matches right along here. I've got a couple that aren't perfect, but they're close enough for me. All right, we're getting close, guys. Okay, you're going to take piece number C, which is this one, and one of the half square units that you have still left over. You should have 4 of those. They're going to line up just like that, and you're going to sew right along this edge, 1/4 inch. Now notice that the white overhangs a little bit, and that's what it's supposed to do. So do that to all 4 half square triangles. Now pressing on this one goes to the white rectangle. So you're just going to go along with all your blocks and press it to the white. So step 5 has you sewing these together, because this is going to create 1/4 of the poinsettia. So this step, you're simply flipping them over on each other, and you'll notice that the seams do not match. So that's the way it's supposed to be. You're just going to line up the edges, and you're going to stitch 1/4 inch. Now remember, this is just 1/4, so you're going to repeat this 3 more times. So you have 4 units that are going to look just like this. So this is just a step you may want to do. I think it really helps before you sew the whole thing together that all your squares are the same size. It's pretty important. So I've laid this out. There's a little spot right here that sticks out a little bit. So I'm going to kind of trim that up. This looks fairly good in here. This one is a little inconsistent. You just have to make sure all the blocks are squared up the same. So this one actually is an 11 by 11. Hey, we are close to finishing, everybody. So you're going to lay it out so they're all going to point in. You're going to put your little sashing strips and the little gold. Look how pretty that gold is. Can you guys see the sparkle? It's really pretty. So how you're going to do this is you're going to sew this to this, press it to the white, and then you're going to add this piece to it. You're going to repeat with this, and the middle you're going to sew those together, press it to the white, and then sew this side onto here. You've got each row sewn up separately, which is great. Now you're going to sew this to here and then press it and then sew this to here. Now on this one, you want to make sure you match those seams right here. So make sure you pin that really well to keep that in line. Okay, and the rest should just match right there on the ends. We're finished. Yay! Well, almost finished. We still need to sandwich it with the backing, quilt it, and bind it. And on all 3 of those steps, we do have YouTube videos on our YouTube channel. So please check us out. And a big thanks for Jen Daly for providing a great free pattern. And I'm going to go show you where you can find more free patterns. So to get to free patterns, in case you don't know about this, so it's my.modafabrics.com. And when you click on that, this is the home page. You click on Inspiration and Resources and scroll down to free. No, actually, this one is on Moda Bake Shop. There is a section for free patterns too, but this particular one, and what I'm going to show you is Moda Bake Shop. So click on that, and it brings up all kinds of like designers post free patterns on here, so it's super cool. So for us, we're going to come over here and click on Christmas, and this is what it brings up for Christmas. And there is the one for our kit right there. So all you would do is click on Read More, and it brings up the pattern. If you ever want to print anything, if you scroll to the bottom, scroll, where's the bottom? It'll always have a printer-friendly version. So when you click on that, it brings you a nice pattern. So it's super cool. So, I mean, if you don't know about this, go back and check it out.
Here, scroll down and show them like some other
like for example, here are layer cake patterns. So all of the, oh, look how cute that is. Oh, those would be cute Christmas ornaments.
Those are cute.
Yeah. So this is it. It brings up all kinds of patterns. So, and they're all free. So check it out. There's all kinds of categories. It's a great place, and every manufacturer has free patterns.